Welcome to the Scratch and Waggle Golf Podcast. We sure have missed our intro guy, Ron. Not Ron Walsh. Walsh is our golf instructor. But recently we reached a new agreement with Intro Ron, and he'll be back with us soon. You won't have to hear Scratch or Kip introduce all these episodes. That was my impression of Thomas. We continue this episode with Ron Walsh. Remember, he's Bobby Clampett Instructor Certified, as well as the current Baker High School Assistant Golf Coach. Hope you enjoyed part 2 of the time with Ron Walsh. Without further delay or any more jokes about Thomas, here's part 2.
All right, guys and ladies, we're back with part 2 of our podcast with Mr. Ron Walsh, the head golf coach at Baker High School.
Not the head, I'm the assistant.
Oh, assistant.
I apologize.
Okay. I'm a volunteer assistant.
I apologize. But yeah, part 2. Again, you guys, we want...
Can y'all hear that?
I can't. Not really.
Not really?
Again, you guys, you can
but you can hear it now,
contact us. We're going to start this over.
Sorry. No, I'm out. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're good. You gonna make me kill that? Don't kill that. I'm out.
All right, again, we're back with part 2 of the podcast with Mr. Ron Walsh, the golf coach at Baker High School. We want your feedback. Again, you can contact us at scratchandwaggle@gmail.com. You also can contact us at scratch_waggle, and also on Facebook, Scratch and Waggle Podcast. We want your feedback, your topics. If you have questions for Mr. Ron Walsh, please shoot them to us, and we'll get it to him. Again, we're going to introduce him, tell a couple stories and some of his topics and tips that he can help us with. And also, I am glad to say that he is the lowest score at this table that we have, because Mr. Scratch over here always bragging about his golf game. So this is a treat for me, because he's not the best golfer in the room.
That's right. I'm not. I will defer to Mr. Walsh. That's right. Well, that is all right. Let's rapid fire here. What's your personal best?
My personal best, 68 at Rock Creek.
At Rock Creek. That's cool. 4 under.
Yeah.
Yeah. My personal best, 67, 4 under up at Jasper.
Oh, I knew it was one better.
And I know that's not better. It's equal. It was a par 71.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
And I had a 69 at the Moors
I remember that.
in a tournament. You were
That's
there.
right. I was there.
That
I remember.
69
We were
there.
proud of you, man.
Yeah,
you were the first person on that PCGA to shoot an under par round.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember that. Tell me about that last putt.
oh man, it was about a 6-foot slider from right to left. I'll never forget it. I was thinking I gotta make this putt for a 69, and it rolled in.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was a par 4.
Yeah.
Water on the right.
Mm-hmm.
And bunkers all over the place, if I remember.
Yeah.
Gosh, that was a fun golf course. Over in Pensacola
or
Milton.
Golf course.
Bubba Watson. We need to tag Bubba Watson on this episode. See if he'll join us for that. All right. And what's your favorite golf course?
Man, that's a tough one. I really like Rock Creek a lot. Mm-hmm. That was my first, I guess, because I had my 68 there.
Right.
My first round like that, but that was a day when the putts were just falling from everywhere. You don't know, putts you could probably take a bucket of balls out there and never make it again were falling, But I think that's one of my favorites. And I like Magnolia. I love the crossings.
Yeah.
Love it.
Outside Alabama, though, I'm saying.
Oh, outside Alabama.
Anywhere you've ever played. What's your favorite golf course that you've ever played?
TPC, Ponte Vedra.
In Jacksonville?
Oh yeah, that's shooting darts there. From the tees that we played, is shooting darts. I mean, you got to throw the shot here, and you throw the next one here, and you throw the next one here.
Now, when you say the tee that you play, which tee do you play?
Well, when I was there, I played like the white,
Because Thomas just moved up to the white, I think. Hadn't you been playing it?
Just when I'm playing myself, I move up. He's not there.
I wasn't at the senior tees on that course that time, but that was so much fun.
Wow.
We had caddies when I was there, and
Thomas is about to kill me. My bad. We're sorry. Keep going.
That's all right.
Keep going.
I played it. 3 or 4 times, and first time I played it, I had the flu, and I didn't care.
Right.
I'm going to get through this.
Right.
And, if you have to take me out of here on a stretcher, I'm playing it. So,
crazy question for you: what is your idea of a 3-wheel push cart? How do you feel about a 3-wheel push cart?
Well,
Do you carry? Would you rather carry your
What-
bag,
what-
or would you rather
what's-
use
what's
the
your-
3-wheel golf cart?
you know, it really depends on the course because if it's like the par 3 out there at Magnolia, I'd rather carry my bag than have a pull cart there.
Right,
You know.
because of the curbs,
Yeah,
all the curbs
all
and the.
up and down, up and down. I find it harder to, it's easier just to carry your bag.
Do you carry off all the clubs, or do you take some out?
No.
Well, on the par 3,
On
yeah,
the
you're
par
gonna take
three, I
out your
don't,
woods.
you know,
Right.
yeah, I
But
don't
do
need
you
woods.
walk on a regular course? Or
No,
do you,
not
okay.
anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah, so
What
nothing wrong.
he's getting at is Thomas enjoys pushing his clubs with a 3-wheel cart.
Sometimes.
Well, all the kids, all the high school kids got them.
Oh, really? That's
Well,
fun.
the girls, all the girls.
Oh, well, they're supposed to.
I'm sorry.
Girls
I'm
are
sorry,
supposed
Thomas. I'm sorry, man.
To. Girls are supposed to push their golf carts. Yeah.
Most all the guys carry it. So
There you
I
go.
carry
The
most
guys
of the
carry.
time.
Yeah.
You know, I got it from Ultraman. You know, he.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what he
yeah.
doing.
Throw a shot out there at Ultraman, because he deserved it.
might depend on what kind of bag you got.
He posted a comment that he was a sissy because he had a
It was-
3-wheel
yeah,
cart.
He did say that. Yeah, I did
He
like
manned
that.
up and said that
sure
he was
did.
a sissy.
He sure did.
If you got a carry bag, it's
I got a
carry it.
bag.
But
I
if you
can't
got
lie.
a
it's a
tour bag, put it on wheels.
Put on. It's just a running joke. 'Cause, yeah. Coaching question. I coached middle school football at Spanish Fort for 3 years.
Okay.
Defensive line. I have a passion for coaching. Enjoyed it. I remember dealing with that age range. How difficult it was just to get them to remember fundamentals day to day.
Yeah.
11, 12, 13-year-olds. You're trying to tell them, hey, stay down. Don't pop up. Don't look. Use your hands. Watch your feet. You constantly have to teach these things over and over to that age range.
Right.
And that's football. So,
Yeah.
I'm used to football, teaching it. From a golf standpoint, as a coach, how difficult is it to get them to get those fundamentals every day at that age range? Do you prefer dealing with that age range compared to maybe somebody my age that's just getting started? Is it easier to deal with that age range compared to trying to break somebody that's older? Just what's some of your ideas of that?
Well, the high school or even the freshmen, they usually can listen to you and understand what you're saying, and if you can keep them on the fundamentals and keep them there and drill into them that when you're on the range and you're practicing, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You don't have to hit it good. You don't have to work on the fundamentals and get them, and that's the hardest thing, because as soon as they hit one bad doing the drill or something that you got them, they want to revert back to something that they got maybe some decent results from. So but the hardest thing to me is when you get somebody that's 40, 50, 60 years old that's been playing for a long time and they've got these bad habits drilled into them, and I mean it is hard to get out of a bad habit. It is very hard, and you have to work. You have to work extremely hard to get out of a bad habit. It's easier to learn it right the first time and get the fundamentals instead of trying to get away from something that's.
Is there an aha moment, if you will, where either the student or that range, the 40 to 60, where they've been hitting, and they reach that frustration point, but then they stay with it, and then they finally hit that shot, and do they ever look at you and go, "Wow, I get it, or I got it"?
Yeah, I have to hand it. I won't mention any names, but I've got a young man that I've been working with for a long time now. I say a long time. It's probably been a year, but he was left-handed, and when we first started working together, he was hitting bad fat shots, fat. And we worked on a few things on his turn, and then he started shanking. And this young man hit shanks for 2 months.
Ooh,
And he stayed with it. I mean, I probably would have broke every club in my bag
Right.
by 2
That's
months.
what I was-
Just
yeah,
get out
throwing
and
clubs,
take up
breaking
fishing,
clubs.
you tennis, something. But he stayed with it. And we knew what he was doing wrong. We knew it, and I showed him on film what he was doing. I mean, his body was actually moving towards the ball, and his head was going down. His head would go down, and most people want to lose their spine angle coming up. He's actually going down, which pushes the club out. And he's hitting it right in a hustle, And I'd stick a club on his hat and say, don't push this club. He'd push that club. He'd push it away because he's going down. But he was such a great athlete. I mean, the guy was really gifted as an athlete, or he is gifted. And he stuck with it. And now, what a ball striker!
Cool.
What a great ball striker! But it's fun when you have somebody. But he's 20 years old.
Right. Right.
But he's one of these gifted people. Most of the time, he could. You tell him to do something, he could do it. But that head going down, man, that took a long time. That took.
For our maybe beginners, because we had I had this discussion today with somebody, and I mentioned you as a ball striker. I told them you were coming on the show podcast, and they were like, "What's a ball striker?" And what's your definition of ball striker? Either one of you, because I mean, I had one, I gave her, but I wanted to hear y'all's definition of a ball striker.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Isn't it a good question? I mean,
never thought about it before.
Never thought. So, all right, let me try that. I'll throw mine out there, and you tell me, poke
Yeah,
holes in it if
yeah.
you will. And I said a ball striker is somebody that they consistently hit the ball, and they hit it well. Like there's not going to be there's a different sound to it, and then there's a consistency in the ball flight, and there's never like a hard right or a hard left that's not something that they've done on purpose, because you can make the ball go left and right if you desire. But just that consistent, there's a tempo in their swing. They hit the ball, you can just hear it taking off from the club, and it's just the consistency, just that.
Yeah.
And there is truly a sound when you can press that golf ball that people, when they're walking down the range, I mean, that's how I know when somebody's pretty good.
Absolutely.
You're walking
You can
behind
hear
people, and you hear it, and you're like, and you look, and you're like, that kid can play, or that girl can play, and yeah. So I know when I play with you, I hear that, and I see that, and I can tell, and I haven't heard that with Thomas yet. You knew that was coming, right?
He keep going on. I'll show you a striker.
But you see how this goes, right?
I agree with your definition. I just don't think I fit that category. Thank you for saying that, but I have my moments that struggle.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody knows.
does,
but if you're not hitting golf,
I
if you're not
agree
hitting
with
500 golf balls a day,
Yeah.
Is there a distance to ball striking? Like, would you say a ball striker, are they consistent with the distance? Is there a distance above average? I mean, would you consider, or is it just somebody with that consistency?
I think good ball strikers, they're going to hit the ball a little farther than people that are not good ball strikers.
Right.
And I feel blessed at my age that I still go to the gym and can work out, and and I feel like I can still move the ball out there pretty good.
you do.
For my age, So.
Yeah, I played with you at least a year ago out at Magna Grove Crossings, and I think we were playing anyway. Yeah, you were moving the ball out there.
Yeah.
And of course, Ron, I love playing with Ron. He's like, man, I didn't hit that good, and he's like 30 yards past everybody else. But that's the golfer in us, man. I mean, every time you think that's what's challenging about the golf is you can't reach that perfection.
That's right.
Except maybe the round at Rock Creek. The putts were going. That's when everything seemed to come together.
Yeah.
And anyway, I won't go there because you're gonna make fun of me. But
I am.
There's times where things work and it's just fun. And then you can go out the very next day. Sometimes make the turn to go play your second 18, and it all falls apart.
Right.
And it's just like, what just happened?
Yeah.
But somehow we chased the rabbit, and that's fine. But so you were coaching at Baker High School, and you want to give a brief summary of how you got started in that? And then
that's a kind of a funny story, but one thing is you have to. Well, I'll get that later. But one thing is I just saw the young people out there struggling, and the coach that was there, he's not there anymore, but the one that was there, he had 17 players out there that he's trying to, he's herding cats.
Yeah,
out
just
there.
herding cats at that point.
That's right.
High school kids.
So, and I saw some of them that were really struggling with their game, and I approached them and asked them, if they could use some assistance, because I knew I was retired then. I knew that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go somewhere and help. So they pointed me to the coach, the head guy, and led into getting with him, and had some people put in a word for me with him, because he didn't know me from Adam, and he has to be very cautious for his students, and he's got to be protective of them. But we got together, and then I had to go through the teachers thing, and
background checks, testing, all that
background
stuff.
checks, and go through that, and finally, You know, they had me take some courses at Baker too. I had to take first aid courses and
Oh, good.
coaching courses and
Because
CPR.
Thomas is going to hurt me in a little while. I might need some of that.
Yeah,
Practice here in a
yeah.
second.
I mean, you got to have your CPR and you got to have your defibrillation thing that you're trained on and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty neat. You know,
Yeah.
what you go through. That's stuff you could use anytime.
Cool.
So
So tell us a little bit about maybe either a practice session. I mean, how involved do you get with their golf swing?
that's my main thing. I mean, we've got Coach Norman there now, who is Coach Norman's probably not as detailed on golf swings as I am, so he relies on me to help there. And I've got my iPad. I'm gonna go out there and I'm filming people and showing them stuff, and let them see it. You know, this is what you think you're doing, but this is what you're doing. You know, that's the kind of thing. But so he relies on me more for the golf swing. But his thing is the herding of cats. You know, getting them set up, scheduling and making sure everybody's there, and do they know when to be there and where to be and all this kind of stuff. And then the girls and the guys have different days for matches, so he'll go, whoever's having a match, he's going to go with them and get them set up, you know, follow them around, make sure everything's going cool. That's the day I'll be with the other group.
Coaching their swing. Okay.
Yeah,
That makes
so
sense.
I'll be helping them, and you know, and they're going to go play 9 holes, and I'll follow them around and just see how they're doing and keep track of what they're doing and make sure they're there doing what they're supposed to be doing. That kind of thing. So
And,
that's my contribution to the thing.
How long have you been doing it? This is your second year?
This is my 4th year.
Wow.
4th year coming up.
Time's fine.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And have you seen improvement? Have you seen like a freshman that went through senior?
I've got
Vast
some that I
improvement.
started with that were freshmen. They're going to be seniors this year.
This year?
Yeah, and I've seen, you know, some drastic improvements in some
Cool.
of them. They're really good. And we've had several that went on with scholarships, you know. Of course, I don't think I contributed to them. You know, they were good when I got there. But, you know, we've had several of them do it, and that's a pleasure to watch them.
Yeah.
I tell you right now, ladies, if you got any ladies that, you know, or any young women in school or young ladies that want to get involved with golf, there are a lot of scholarships out there.
Yeah.
I keep hearing that everywhere I
A
go.
lot. I mean, I've had coaches from the colleges say, you know, we got this money sitting here. We got to find some girls that'll play.
My girls, when they were 12, roughly 12, same thing. That's all I heard. If you can get your girl into golf, there's scholarships that go wasted every year.
Yeah.
And she got into the
Absolutely.
cello. She's into music now, so
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know.
she still plays for fun with
Yeah.
me. But they just didn't want to spend that time.
And it's work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. And if
I
they go
told
off to
him
college, it's even
it's
more
relation-
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a relationship is what I told him. You know, you've got to spend the time. You got to spend the money. It's going to leave you one day and be your best friend the next. So it comes and goes. But yeah, and we've talked to, just a quick example maybe of what you were just talking about, college golf, is we were out there with the South Alabama coach, girls coach, TJ, is that his name?
TJ's at Mobile, University
Okay.
of Mobile now.
All right. Still a good coach. So
Yeah.
I'm out there talking to him and asking him some questions. And just real quick, I said, what does it take for a girl golfer? I said, I keep hearing about scholarships. And he was South Alabama, so Division I golf school. And he said, you see this girl right here? And I said, yeah. He said, she's from Daphne or Spanish Fort, right across the bay, Baldwin County. She was your state champion in Alabama. He said, she's number 5 on my team. And I was like,
Oh, man.
that's pretty strong. I was thinking if they could break 80, that they could get a scholarship. He's like, well, for not Division I school, FBS, would that be
FBS.
Division? Anyway, roll tide. That maybe, you know, if they're shooting in the 70s, they're probably good enough to go to a non-Division I. But to shoot well and to play well and to get a full scholarship, they're going to have to shoot very good.
Yeah.
But she was number 5. So just to give people a broad spectrum of where you need to be with that. So cool. Any more? What are your Baker golf team goals for 2018?
Well, we got some good ones coming back, and I know they've been working hard, you know, on their own in the off season. So I think, you know, winning city first, and then going state. That's
And are
the
y'all
goal.
6A? Are y'all 6A?
6A or 7?
7A.
7A.
Baker.
Oh yeah, Baker's like a small
Baker's
town.
huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And give me kind of an overview of like how many matches in a season, how many players kind of play, because I don't even know that.
Yeah, you
I
have
mean,
five per tournament. You take your top 5. And what we try to do is, that there's going to be 3 of them probably going to always be in the top 5. So you may have 2 that won't be. So you're going to take that the top 3 are going to be there every week.
Consistent.
But you look at who's during the week, they're going to go play 9 after they practice, and they're going to turn in the scorecard. And coach is going to be looking at the scorecards. How did you do this week? That's going to determine whether you play the next term or not. So you can earn a spot, and that's the same way with the ladies.
So, yeah, do the matches usually go on like a Friday or Saturday?
They vary. They'll be Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, whatever. They're all during the week.
And for and again, I'm ignorant on this, but Baker, is that all going to be in Mobile County, all the matches, or do y'all go different places?
I think we got invited to a couple of tournaments. Dothan was one, maybe Birmingham, but they have to. That's an invitation.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just your normal playing tournaments that you played during the year, it's all Mobile County.
Okay, cool.
Now they will throw some Baldwin County in there.
Rock Creek's over in Baldwin.
Yeah. So Baldwin County get involved with that. So,
Quick question to Mobile, Alabama, big on football, basketball down here. Golf is not necessarily the first sport that comes to mind, especially as a high school kid. I remember myself in high school, golf was the last thing I was thinking about.
Right.
Now I'm second guessing it now, now that I'm playing, I should have played. Mm-hmm. But how do you guys generate interest in golf with a 16, 17, 18-year-old, especially with a climate like this in Alabama where football and basketball are so heavy? Even volleyball is just so heavy here. How do you generate, and is there an interest there for those?
Oh, there's a big interest already there, and I think it comes from the parents mainly. I mean, we're not out there, passing out pamphlets or anything like that, trying to, but there's plenty of young men that, are out there and, now getting really good ones. That's a different ball game right there. But, again, the ladies, that's the tough part, trying to get the ladies to come out, and you try to get, we got one that we're going to get out there, but she was a freshman, and she's saying, I won't know anybody, and so coach said, well, bring some friends. We'll let them ride around with you. Y'all can have a good time. So, but we're trying to recruit the ladies to come out there, and I think it'd be good for them if they have some athletic ability to do it.
How about that? Well, cool, Ron. I appreciate this, man. Appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
We want you to tell your friends at Baker to listen to the podcast.
Okay.
And we said before, we'll put it out there again, but we will have your contact information for lessons. And as you said last podcast, that you give any donation that you receive for giving lessons, that goes straight to St. Jude.
Right.
And that is awesome, dude. Thank you. And we are going to do our best to have a Scratch and Waggle golf tournament sometime in 2018. And
that'd be great.
Some of it for profit, and then we've also talked about giving donations to St. Jude. I mean, seriously, that is not a lie. We've talked about giving a donation to St. Jude. So we're going to try. That's one of our goals, future goals, is to have a Scratch and Waggle golf tournament every year, and then eventually turn that into a huge St. Jude event. Which I know there's a bunch of there's one over at Lakewood that we get to go to every year. Used to be Food for Less, now it's Piggly Wiggly. KC, shout out to KC. He does a St. Jude tournament every year, and they've done fantastic. But anyway, that's for another podcast. All right, guys. Any last questions?
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, and you're going to be back again, by the way.
Absolutely, love to.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. I wish I could play my Son of a Preacher Man on the way out. Anywho. All right, see y'all soon.